What's up, Michigan State fans? It's Jacob Katzanik here back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. It is now Thursday, November 6th, 2025. Football is on by, for better or worse, but that does not mean we have a big weekend ahead of us in East Lansing. Big hockey series that you should certainly tune into. Number 1, Michigan State. I think it's number 3, Penn State, but the thing that's probably going to get the most eyeballs is going to be the basketball game on Saturday at the Breslin Center. I'm going to be at all three of those things, both the hockey game Friday and Saturday. It'll be a doubleheader for me on Saturday. Go to hockey and then head over to the Breslin right after that game's over to watch number 22 Michigan State against number 14 Arkansas. So it's a real intriguing game, a fun non-conference game that I love when these games happen. It's not on a neutral court where it's like far away from both fan bases and no one's really actually there. It'll be a real atmosphere at the Breslin Center. I know there's a return game at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville next year. I love when these types of things happen. It's going to be the first ranked-on-ranked matchup at the Breslin Center during a non-conference game since Duke came in 2019. That was in December. It was the now defunct Big Ten ACC Challenge. I kind of wish that was still a thing. I thought that was a fun thing, that was a thing, but they took that away. But hey, that's not stopping Izzo from scheduling some good teams now. They have Duke coming into the Breslin Center again this year. Good chance that'll be ranked as well. But looking at this game. There's certainly still some questions that need to be answered for Michigan State. Looked shaky against Colgate, certainly not their best performance. Izzo was certainly displeased after the game. I would recommend listening to that press conference because, most of you listening to this watched that game. Defense wasn't good enough. Offense certainly got off to not a good enough start. Perimeter defense wasn't great. I don't think the communication was that great on defense. There was a couple late switches, I think, and some pick and pops where, they're just not closing out quickly enough. Again, Colgate hit 11 threes. Their percentage was 38%. It would have been the third highest percentage that Michigan State allowed last year. So already not off to a great start from three-point defense, which was maybe Michigan State's biggest strength last year. They were second in the country in that stat last season. But again, there's a lot of moving parts here still for this team. What the rotation is going to be? Is Curtain going to be the full-time starting two guard? Is it going to be Trey Fort? Jordan Scott looked good, but they're going to be tested here. As I said, they're going to get embarrassed if they do not play better against Arkansas, and for good reason. He didn't even know this at the time, but Arkansas looked real good in their season opener. They played Southern. Southern's a couple spot, even after these results where Arkansas won handedly. Looking at it, it's 109-77 against Southern, and after Colgate got bumped up from keeping it close with Michigan State, Southern's still ahead of Colgate on KenPom. I don't know how much people trust KenPom necessarily. That's everyone's opinion on that. But as far as weighting mid-major teams, I think it's a good metric to go off of. So it's two teams of similar calibers, and Arkansas certainly won by more. Obviously, they're coming to the Breslin, so home court advantage will help the Spartans here in this one, a little bit. But looking at the box score, though, something that stands out, though, is they've got some real good freshmen. The Razorbacks do. They've got one senior who had a monster game, Trevon Brazil, 25 points, 11 rebounds. Hadn't been putting up those types of numbers a lot. It was his career high in points, I believe, if it's right up there. But hey, that's a statement. He's a starter. He's real athletic. I haven't watched the full game, but I turned on the highlights and he made some nice dunks. I think he's a little more athletic based looking at that than Kohler or Cooper. Again, he's a forward, bigger guy. He's 6'10". So that's going to be a challenge for Michigan State's defense and for the bigger guys out there on the court as well. The thing that stands out is the freshmen that they've got. It's John Calipari we're talking about here. He's going to recruit. 24/7 Sports had them as the 5th best recruiting class this latest cycle. And they had a couple 5 stars, 2 of them, and both of them phenomenal debuts. 22 points from Darius Acuff. Might be running the ones for them. That might be a Jeremy Fears assignment for him. He had 22 points, 4 assists. 20 of those points came in the first half, so he just went bonkers for his first half of real collegiate basketball. As well, though, they got 21 points from another 5-star off the bench, Malik Thomas. Hit 4 threes and dished out 7 assists, 3 steals. So they got some depth too, and some guys who can really, up and down, even when some of their stars come out. I mean, they're number 14 in the rankings right now coming into the season for a reason. DJ Wagner's a good player, had 7 assists, 8 points. Got 12 points as well from another freshman, a 4-star guy, Isaiah Seeley. So, but Calipari's rotation looked to be 8 deep through that first game. Those are only 8 guys who got legitimate minutes. It was spread out pretty well, no one more than 32. And everyone who got legit minutes got at least 16 minutes as well. So did a good job for an 8-man rotation, keeping guys fresh, not running them into the ground too much. But again, the two matchups I'm thinking about the most probably right now are Acuff against Fears. I'm pretty sure Acuff's a point guard. And then Brazil against either Kohler or Cooper, whichever big is guarding him. That's going to be a challenge. But it's going to be a real big game. Michigan State, again, has to do several things better. I wrote about this already. The free throw shooting has been horrendous, both in exhibitions and during that first game against Colgate. I think they've sat under 70% in all 3 of those games, just individually. As a whole, it's certainly below 70% because that's how math works. And again, they missed 13 free throws against Colgate, 37 attempts. I did the math. They shot almost 78% from the line last year. I did the math. If they shot that average against Colgate, that would have been 5 more points. So when you get into games like this, where you're playing Arkansas, where you're playing Duke, where you're playing North Carolina, where they play Kentucky, right? Champions Classic. Like when you're playing a Big Ten team on the road per se, those missed free throws can be the difference between a win and a loss. I talked to Jackson Kohler after the game. He kind of talked about that. They won games on free throws last year, and now you can lose games on free throws as well. Not trending in the right direction there. Again, I already talked about the perimeter defense. Too many open looks for Colgate coming out of the gate. No pun intended there. But it's just, I'm blanking on the final. Michigan State didn't shoot the threes very well either. I didn't write about that specifically. That's one of those things that can kind of come with time. Still a question mark, though, I do think, for this team. Trey Fort's a good shooter. Curtain promises he's a good shooter. He had a couple of threes as well. But you're still wondering where, who else it might come from. Cohen Carr's working on the shot, though, but still not a shot maybe you want to rely on too much. Fears seems to have worked on it. He shot a couple during the exhibition against Bowling Green. I can't remember necessarily if he made one during Colgate or maybe against UConn either, but he hit a couple in that Bowling Green game. Rebounding was good against Colgate. I mean, Colgate just didn't really have the athletes, though, I think, to hang with Michigan State on the glass. I think most of the time during that game, they just vacated the offensive boards just to get back on defense and try to stop the fast break. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case against Arkansas because, again, this is a top 25 team. They're going to have some athletes that are going to be able to challenge Kohler and Cooper, Carr on the glass. So, you'd like to see Cohen Carr get a little more involved in the rebounding game. Was quieter in that regard against UConn. I think he got a couple against Colgate, but with how athletic he is, he needs to be a guy that can go up and get you some defensive boards, and maybe he does. I don't think they count as rebounds, but oftentimes on the offensive glass, he'll tip it out and get it to another guy. I don't think he gets credit for the rebound on that, but he may as well. So I got to give him his flowers on that as well. Oh, that's the other thing. Again, the quicker starts. Now I got my train of thought back. It's just the quicker they need to start a lot quicker, because 10 minutes into the Colgate game, it was 13-10 Michigan State. You cannot score 13 points in a 10-minute stretch and to expect to beat Arkansas. Against UConn, it was 9 points in the first 10 minutes. They lost that game, and it wasn't that close against the Huskies. It was only a 7-point margin in the end, but it was they were trailing by double digits for most of that game. I think it was as much as 19 in the second half. So that game was over for most of that final half. Arkansas, if you're sitting in that, if you're midway through the first half and you're looking up and seeing that type of number, yeah, it's got to be better than that, because those are paces of 36, doing some more quick math in my head, and 52 points. No, it's not going to cut it. So you'd like to see them get closer to 20, just 15, 17, 19, 20. Get that pace up into the 70s, into the 80s, and I think you can feel better about Michigan State. The half-court offense was a little sluggish, I thought, against Colgate. I still think that's really my main concern about this team is when they're not running, when the other team gets back on defense quick enough and gets the lanes filled. Who are they? Like how much? I mean, I don't think they have the scores that they do last year. They had guys who could go get a bucket last year. They had Jace Richardson. They had Jaden Akins. Trey Hallman could go get his own shot. I don't know who they have who can really create his own shot this year. I don't think Jeremy Fears can't really create his own shot. Cohen Carr can't really create, not a jump shot. He can drive, but he can't really create a jump shot and go hit a three. He's not going to be a guy who's going to shoot up, pull up three. Kohler, again, he's a post up big. He'll pick and pop and shoot some threes too, but it's not creating your own shot. They just don't have a true scorer, I think, this year. I don't know who's going to emerge maybe as that. I don't think there's a Jace Richardson on this team. I think Jordan Scott and Cam Ward are going to be contributors to this team. I don't think they're going to be a first-round pick, that type of thing, as a one-and-done for Michigan State this year. Sorry. Working through some. I'm a little under the weather, just trying to hold back some coughs. But nevertheless, though, big game. Do I think Michigan State's going to win? Probably. I'm still trying to go through it. I still think on paper Arkansas might be the stronger team. It's a one-game sample size, but they did do well in their exhibitions as well. They crushed Memphis on the road. Memphis is a decent team, not UConn, but they did well during their exhibition season, and they did really well in their first game again against a comparable opponent to Colgate. What I will have to factor in a little bit is the insane Tom Izzo stat in the month of November. People like to say January, February Izzo, but really his best month might be November, because he has lost one home game in the month of November throughout his was now his 31st year at Michigan State. He's lost one home game in November. I don't know how that's possible, but it is a fact. And it was that JMU upset, James Madison, a couple of years ago. So I guess it has happened recently, but still, that's an insane stat. I don't know how many difficult games there have been during that stretch, but I'm sure there have been a few. I can't go off the dome right now and give you some, but certainly over 31 years, I'm sure there's been a couple big ones that he's won. So it's going to be another big one. Really excited for it. Again, I love these types of games. You don't see Michigan State and Arkansas play that much. So it's fun to get. It's two of the best logos in sports too. Spartan helmet is elite as a college. And the Razorback logo is amazing too, because I just love when college teams just don't have a letter. That's just kind of boring. I like when it's an actual thing. You have a helmet for Michigan State, and you have the hog for the Razorbacks. So that'll be a fun little matchup as well. Nevertheless, though, I'm Jacob Katzanika. Thank you for listening to this or watching it on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to listen to me talk. Continue to check back here at SpartanNation.com and at Michigan State Spartans on SI for all of our content, written content, plenty of it every single day. And I'll see you guys around.